everyone. Great to be with you again. In this episode, we are going to look at the amazing so-called colonial root cellars, quote unquote, of Putnam County, New York State. And we're going to say these are ancient, truly ancient beyond anyone's comprehension, and we're going to prove it as well. That's right, it's going to be proven. I try to prove everything, sometimes circumstantially, but hey. But first, let's look at this thing here. This is Newgrange, and let's take particular note of the appearance, how it looks. This alcove made of stone, a big block of stone. How did they move it? This is in the Orkneys, a similar kind of structure. This was actually discovered. This looks like it's on a beach somewhere, and the archaeologists don't want to go there. They want to go to Egypt. So this was only discovered last year, and it's Bronze Age. And let's also take a note of this. Wayland Smithy, the biggest or the best preserved long barrow in England. And it's so similar to Newgrange. It's basically an English version of Newgrange. And now let's go to Putnam County, New York State. And if we look at this, we can see something that's evidently Bronze Age, Stone Age. And not many artifacts or no artifacts have been found here, probably because of treasure hunters or who knows what, or they were just Stone Age peoples. And they didn't really have any artifacts. Same in Britain, they dug up barrow after barrow, never found anything. Except for a few antlers and bits of rock. And sometimes gold, because gold is Stone Age, it's pre-Metal Age. But anyway, everyone has always said these were for the colonialists who came to America and they wanted to store their veggies over the winter. But the fact is, we now know this is fake, but the academics refuse to catch up with this. These face solstices, they face equinoxes. It's beyond their comprehension to analyze in this way. There is evidence, textual evidence, that these were built by, some of these were built, or at least fixed by colonialists. I think they were fixed. I think they were in ruins. The early colonists hopped off the Plymouth or whatever, and they said, oh, I can turn this into a root cellar. They told their friends, and this has bamboozled modern people. And they're just amazing, these structures, which you find in New England, New York State, everywhere you would expect if people were hopping out of the Atlantic, coming over from the Old World in Stone Age times. So why not? Why not have the Old World people as the builders? And they do look different to what you find in the Old World, but if you went to a new continent, wouldn't you build differently as well? That's yours truly in Ireland a few years ago, and that's basically the same sort of thing. This is an ancient rebuilt stone, basically an ancient pyramid. And that's me with the biggest one in Ireland. That's at Sligo. It's a bit of a walk. And I'm on an altar where a primordial Abraham type figure would have done human sacrifice or cow sacrifice. That's also Putnam County. That's Putnam County. That is showing the landscape. To me, the landscape, except for the trees, is basically very similar to Scotland or Ireland. So the people would have said, this is home to us. And that's the Irish version. That's with that huge pyramid behind me near Sligo. And they basically wanted to bury themselves next to a big pyramid or cairn facing the sea. Pretty much as people would today, you know, a hill with a view. But what's really going on, though? That's what I want to know. See, because these were actually analysed a while back. In the early 90s, an article says that UFO researcher Dr. Bruce Cornett went in here into these places in Putnam County with a magnetometer and a compass. And the magnetometer went bonkers, and the compass, he said, just stepping inside was enough in some of these, was enough to reverse the compass, to send it spiraling. So he suggested that the ancients actually placed metal somehow in the rock to affect people's consciousness, so they would go in here and be able to talk to extraterrestrial intelligences. Now, I think what's going on is, and I'll tell you exactly we're going to see exactly what's going on. Okay, no one brought this here. This was always here. They had no animals to bring this here. So this is the mystery. Whenever there's ancient rocks, ruins, people say, how do they bring them there? And I'm saying invariably they were always there because they've all been left over from the previous super civilization. Even rocks from the Great Pyramid might have been left over from the previous super civilization built with geopolymer. And, I mean, just look at Stonehenge. how did they move the rocks? I'll tell you how they moved the rocks. They didn't move the rocks. And I'm going to prove it right now. In a previous video, I overlaid this, which was about 6 months back, I overlaid this picture of a synchrotron on top of a map that Norman Lockyer did in the early 20th century of Stonehenge, Groverley Castle, Old Sarum in the middle, which I think is the Atlantis capital, Cleobury, and there would have been more around here. It's basically a hexagon. Is it an ancient synchrotron? These are at the magnetic field areas where the synchrotron was. It then fell into ruin, and the tunnels which were used by the super civilization to run the synchrotron, to run the civilization, became the famous tunnels and canals of Atlantis. I think that's what happened. And these things, you see, were always here, so they were never moved. So how does this explain the mystery of the magnetic fields, the weird magnetic fields in these so-called colonial root cellars? Well, I think the answer is reinforced concrete. There's reinforcements running through this, and that has skewed the compasses. I mean, seriously, what else would it be? Stones don't cause such weird anomalies. I mean, sure, it could be sacred spaces are always going to have weird fields inducing the consciousness in different directions, triggering all sorts of flashbacks of previous lives according to ancient people. Who knows what they thought? And they're often located at anomalous sites. We just don't know. But I think there is a practical reason for all this, and that is that these are reinforced structures left over from super ancient high-tech buildings from the days the Anunnaki and the Nephilim were running around the earth, basically nuking each other about 70,000 years ago. Anyway, guys, that was part 1. Part 2's coming up, Ancient Wars in America. See you soon. Bye-bye. Well, hello, everyone. And what do you think of my new studio? What do you think of all these pictures? Anyway, I do have t-shirts. And no one's bought any yet. I guess they're not that good. So there's going to be a competition for the best 2 t-shirt designs. Okay? Best 2 t-shirt designs. Okay. First prize, I'll send you an autographed copy of this book, my latest book, Confessions of the Gods. Easy to read, fun, interesting. That's the blurb. It's all about the hyperwar of about 70,000 BC or after that, when the giants started turning into the Nephilim started turning into the humans, and it's what the ancient record has to say. And in addition, I'll send you a copy, a t-shirt with your design that you've made, okay? And here's what I want. I want something that's wearable, something you can wear in public without people staring at it. So not too fancy, but also not too simple. So, and I do want maybe some of my catchphrases like, or whatever they are, I don't know, what's going on here? Or this is really weird, something like that. Maybe something with a pyramid or something like that. I don't know, up to you, okay? And so that was first prize. First prize, book and t-shirt. Second prize, you get, tell you what, the second prize will get the same thing. The book and the t-shirt. I reckon that's a great contest. Okay guys, and it'll be 1 month from now will be the due date. So let's see what you guys come up with. And I get to use those designs. That's the other stipulation. Okay guys, so I really hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, look at this, check this out, how good is that? And see you next time, bye bye.